Jack Turner stood in the cold docking bay of the research station, watching the alien scout ship land. The floor trembled under the weight of its landing gear. Round him, alien crew members moved quickly, speaking in a language full of sharp clicks and low hums. The air smelled of metal and fuel. Jack had been told they had brought something dangerous from the jungle world below. The ramp of the scout ship lowered, and 4 tall alien soldiers stepped out. Between them, lying on a heavy lift platform, was a creature unlike anything the younger crew had seen before. It was massive, with 6 long limbs ending in claws that could tear through steel. Its body was covered in dark-scaled armor, and its eyes glowed faintly like molten gold. Deep wounds along its sides still oozed thick black blood. The soldiers kept their weapons aimed at it, even though the creature barely moved. Commander Lyra, tall and slender with silver skin, approached Jack. Her voice was calm but tense. "This is a Vorthar. It kills for sport. We found it badly injured. We should end it before it recovers." Jack looked at the predator. Even lying there, it gave off an air of strength. He stepped closer, ignoring the warning clicks from the soldiers. "It's still alive. It can be saved." Lyra's expression was unreadable. "You would risk your life for this. You know what it is." "I know," Jack replied. "But I'm not here to destroy life. I'm here to understand it. Let me treat it." The soldiers exchanged uneasy glances. Maya Brooks, the station's human medic, hurried in and stopped when she saw the creature. Her eyes widened. "Jack, that thing could kill everyone in here if it wakes up." "Not if we do this right," Jack said. He knelt by the predator, studying the injuries. The wounds were deep but not fatal if treated soon. "I'll need surgical tools, med gel, and restraints strong enough to hold it without hurting it." Maya hesitated, then nodded and went to gather the equipment. The aliens murmured among themselves, clearly unsure why the human cared so much. He moved slowly, speaking in a calm voice, though no one could understand the words he was saying to the creature. His hands were steady as he cleaned the blood and sealed the wounds with a mix of human stitching and alien healing gel. The creature's breathing grew more even. At one point, the predator gave a low rumbling sound. Several soldiers raised their weapons, but Jack lifted a hand. "It's all right. It's not attacking." Commander Lyra watched closely. Her people had captured Vorthars before, but none had ever remained still during treatment. This one lay quiet, tense but not fighting. It was as if it understood Jack's intentions. Hours passed. The medical lights cast long shadows across the bay. Jack worked without stopping, sweat on his forehead. Maya returned with more supplies, and together they patched the last wound. Finally, Jack stepped back. "It's stable. It will live." The alien crew stayed silent. They had expected the human to fail, or for the predator to break free and attack. Instead, they saw a living creature resting calmly under the care of someone it should have hated. Lyra stepped forward. "You have done something I did not think was possible. But tell me, human, why?" Jack wiped his hands on a cloth. His gaze stayed on the predator. "Because everything deserves a chance. Even this." The predator's eyes closed, but its breathing remained steady. Jack turned to leave, knowing the real challenge would come when the creature woke. He could feel the weight of the alien crew's stares. They did not understand his choice. Not yet. The lights in the containment bay glowed dimly. Jack stood beside the Vorthar, checking the bindings around its limbs. They were made of a strong alien alloy, enough to hold a shuttle in place. The predator stirred, its golden eyes opening slowly. Jack kept his movements steady, speaking in the same calm tone he had used before. The alien guards watched from behind a protective barrier, their weapons aimed. Maya entered carrying a tray of medical tools and nutrient fluid. She kept her distance, her eyes moving from the creature to Jack. "It's awake," she said quietly. "I know," Jack replied. "It's watching me." The predator's gaze stayed fixed on him. It did not pull at the restraints. It only shifted its weight slightly, testing its position. Jack reached for the nutrient fluid, filling a shallow container. He placed it on the floor just within reach. The Vorthar's head lowered slowly, its nostrils flaring as it smelled the contents. After a moment, it drank. Maya frowned. "That's not normal. They don't take food from anyone." "It's not about the food," Jack said. "It's about trust." Commander Lyra entered, her silver skin catching the faint light. She stopped beside the barrier, her eyes narrowing. You have it eating from your hand, human. But I wonder when will it decide to bite instead? Jack didn't answer. He checked the bandages, cleaning away the dark, dried blood. The creature stayed still. The guards exchanged quiet words in their own language, unsure what to make of the sight. The hours passed. Jack worked to treat a deep wound along the predator's shoulder, applying a mix of alien healing salve and human antibiotics. The creature gave a low growl when the medicine touched, but it did not lash out. Instead, it kept its eyes on Jack unblinking. Maya watched from across the bay. She had seen him treat dangerous animals before, but this was different. The Vorther's focus on Jack was too sharp, almost as if it recognized him. During the night cycle, Jack stayed in the bay, sitting near the predator's enclosure. He spoke in a low tone, his words slow and even. Lyra passed by once, stopping to listen. She could not understand the human's language, but the rhythm of it seemed almost like a call. The Vorther responded with a deep sound from its chest, not hostile, not friendly, something in between. By the next day, the wounds had begun to close. The healing gel was working faster than expected. Jack checked the vital signs, noting the steady heartbeat. He glanced at Maya. It's recovering well. Too well, she replied. Soon it won't need those restraints. Lyra entered again, her voice sharp. When that day comes, it will try to kill us all. You know this? Jack stood and faced her. Maybe not. Her eyes narrowed. You speak as if you know it. I know enough, Jack said, and turned back to his work. That evening, something unusual happened. When Jack stepped away to sterilize his tools, another alien crew member approached the enclosure, trying to get a closer look. The Vorther's eyes snapped toward the stranger, its body tensing. A deep growl rumbled from its throat. The crew member froze and backed away quickly. But when Jack returned, the predator relaxed again. Maya saw it too. Jack, it only calms down when you're here. Jack didn't answer right away. He touched the edge of the containment field, looking into those golden eyes. Maybe it remembers something, he said quietly. The alien crew grew restless. They had seen enough strange behavior to start whispering among themselves. The predator was supposed to be wild, uncontrollable. But this one was showing signs they had never seen: obedience, patience, and a strange loyalty to a single human.
Jack knew the questions would come soon. He also knew he wasn't ready to give the answers.
The station's mess hall was loud with voices, but when Jack entered, the conversation shifted. The alien crew glanced at him, then away. Some of them whispered in low tones. News of the Vorther's strange behavior had spread through the station. It was supposed to be a mindless killer, yet it was showing signs of trust toward one human. Maya sat at a table near the corner. She motioned for Jack to join her. You know they're talking about you, she said. I noticed, Jack replied, setting down his tray. They don't understand what's happening. Neither do I, Maya said. You act like you know this thing, like you've seen it before. Jack didn't answer right away. His mind went back to another world, another time, but he pushed the memory aside. It's not important right now. What matters is keeping it alive until it's healed. Before Maya could respond, the station's intercom buzzed. Commander Lyra's voice filled the room. Turner, report to the containment bay. Jack stood and left without another word. When he arrived, 2 alien guards were outside the bay, their weapons raised. Inside, the Vorthar was standing for the first time since its arrival. The restraints groaned under its weight, but it wasn't thrashing. It was staring at the far wall, tense. What happened? Jack asked. One guard answered. It became agitated when we tried to scan it for infection. Jack stepped inside, moving slowly. The predator's eyes shifted to him. The tension in its body eased and it lowered itself back onto the platform. The guards lowered their weapons slightly, exchanging uneasy looks. Jack crouched beside it. It's all right, he said softly. No one's going to hurt you. Commander Lyra entered, her gaze sharp. Why does it only calm when you are here? Jack met her eyes. Maybe it recognizes I'm trying to help. Or maybe it sees you as something else, Lyra said. Something familiar. The words stayed with Jack after she left. That night, while the station slept, Jack returned to the bay. He deactivated the barrier and stepped inside, sitting cross-legged on the floor. The predator shifted closer, the sound of its breathing steady and slow. Jack spoke in a quiet voice, using an old pattern of sounds he hadn't used in years. The Vorthor's ears twitched, and it made a low rumble in return. For several minutes, they exchanged these sounds, the meaning hidden from anyone who might be watching on the cameras. By the next day, rumors had grown. Some said Jack had tamed it. Others claimed he had some secret way of controlling predators. Lyra confronted him again in the corridor. "If you know something, you need to tell me. This is not normal behavior for a Vorthor." Jack shook his head. "Not yet. You wouldn't believe me if I told you." Her expression hardened. "Then be ready to explain when it wakes up without restraints, because that day is coming." Later, Maya approached Jack in the med bay. "I heard something last night. You were talking to it, not in English." Jack hesitated. "It's a sound pattern I learned a long time ago, a way to calm it." "Calm it?" she asked. "Or talk to it." He didn't answer, and that was enough for her to know it was the second. That evening, an alert rang through the station. A cargo ship had come under attack near the jungle world. A distress signal was calling for help. They assembled a small team, including Jack and Maya, to respond. As they prepared to leave, the Vorthor growled low, watching Jack from its enclosure. Jack stopped at the door. "Stay here," he said quietly to it. I'll be back." The predator made a short, sharp sound in response, one Jack hadn't heard since the day he thought he lost it years ago. The sound followed him all the way to the shuttle. The shuttle's engines hummed as it cut through the thin clouds of the jungle world. Jack sat strapped in, his mind not on the mission ahead, but on the sound the Vorthor had made before he left. It was a call he had not heard in years, one tied to a part of his past he had never told anyone about. The distress beacon had come from a supply camp on the planet's surface. When the shuttle landed, the scene was chaos. Cargo containers were scattered, the ground torn up by massive claw marks. The air was thick with the smell of burned metal. Lyra led the team forward, scanning for survivors. A sudden roar echoed from the tree line. Jack knew it instantly. It was another Vorthor. The alien soldiers raised their weapons as a massive shape emerged from the shadows. Its scales were darker, its eyes a colder shade of gold than the one in the station. This one was uninjured and very much ready to kill. The creature charged. The soldiers opened fire, but the Vorthor's speed was unreal. Jack shouted for them to fall back. Blaster fire lit the trees, but it kept coming. Just before it reached them, a blur of motion crashed into it from the side. Jack's eyes widened. It was the injured Vorthor from the station. Somehow, it had broken free and followed their shuttle down. The two predators clashed, their roars shaking the ground. Claws tore into scales and the air filled with the sound of snapping branches and grinding teeth. Maya grabbed Jack's arm. "How is it here?" Jack shook his head. "I don't know. But it's not here to hurt us." The injured Vorthor fought with desperate strength. The other was larger, but it began to retreat under the relentless assault. Finally, it turned and vanished back into the jungle. The surviving camp workers were found hiding inside a half-collapsed building. They had seen the larger predator attacking and had no idea why the other had driven it away. Lyra looked from them to Jack. "I think I do know, and I think you owe me answers." They returned to the shuttle with the injured Vorthor following close behind. It did not try to enter the craft, but stood watching as if waiting for Jack's signal. Lyra stepped up to him. "Talk." Jack's shoulders dropped. "It's not just any predator. Years ago on a colony world, I worked in wildlife rescue. We found 2 orphaned Vorthor's young, weak, barely alive. I raised them until they were strong enough to survive. When the colony was attacked, I thought both were lost. I never saw them again, till now." Lyra stared at him. "This one is my companion," Jack finished. "Raised it. Trained it to understand certain sounds. It remembers me." Maya was silent, looking between them. "And the other one we saw today?" Jack's voice was quiet. "The other one was its sibling." The words hung in the air. Lyra's expression shifted from disbelief to something harder. "You understand, this changes everything. This is not just a wild animal. It has history, and it has followed you into a war zone." Back at the station, the alien crew gathered as the Vorthor walked calmly into the containment bay without resistance. No one spoke. They had seen it fight to protect the humans, and they didn't know whether to fear it or respect it. Lyra stood beside Jack. The High Command will want it destroyed. They will not see it the way you do. Jack looked at the Predator, its golden eyes locked on his. So then I'll have to make sure they never get the chance. That night, Jack stayed by the enclosure. He spoke to the Vorther in the old sounds, and it answered in low rumbles. The bond they had shared years ago was still there, stronger than ever, but Jack knew the truth saving it once had been hard. Saving it from an order of execution would be nearly impossible. The message from High Command arrived the next morning. Commander Lyra read it in silence, then placed the tablet on the table between her and Jack. The words were simple. The Vorther was to be euthanized immediately. The reason given was security risk. Jack's jaw tightened. They don't understand. They don't care, Lyra replied. They see a predator, not a bond. If I refuse the order, I lose my position. Shh. If you refuse, they will take it from you. Maya stepped into the room. There has to be another way. Jack's mind was already working. There is, but it's going to be risky. Lyra's eyes narrowed. You're talking about breaking it out. Jack met her gaze. I'm talking about saving it. That night, the station was quiet. Most of the crew was off duty, and the bay lights were low. Jack entered the containment area with Maya close behind. The Vorther lifted its head when it saw him, making a low sound that echoed in the empty space. Jack moved quickly, deactivating the barrier and unlocking the restraints. The Predator stood slowly, its muscles rippling under healed scales. Maya kept watch at the door. You have to follow me and stay quiet, Jack said to it. We don't have much time. The Vorther stepped out, moving with surprising silence for its size. Together, they made their way through the maintenance corridors. The station's sensors would pick up large movement, so Jack led it through areas with blind spots in the scans. Halfway to the docking bay, a voice rang out. Stop! Lyra stood in the corridor ahead. Her hands were at her sides, but her eyes were sharp.
You know what will happen if you're caught.
Jack didn't slow down. I know, but I can't let them kill it. For a long moment, Lyra said nothing. Then she stepped aside. Go. Jack nodded once. The Vorthar passed her, its golden eyes meeting hers for just a moment before moving on. At the docking bay, Maya was already inside a small transport ship, running pre-flight checks. Jack guided the Predator up the ramp, securing it in the rear compartment. The ship's engines hummed to life. An alarm began to sound. Someone had noticed the unauthorized launch sequence. Jack jumped into the pilot seat and Maya took the co-pilot's chair. Hold on, Jack said as he lifted the ship from the bay. The station's defense systems began to track them, but Lyra's voice came over the comms. This is Commander Lyra. Cancel pursuit. Its launch is cleared. There was a pause. Then the targeting locks disengaged. Jack didn't waste time questioning it. He pushed the engines to full and broke free into open space. They traveled for hours, leaving the station and the jungle world far behind. Finally, a small green planet appeared in the distance. It was uninhabited, covered in forests and rivers. Jack had found it years ago during a survey mission, and had kept its location to himself. The transport descended into a wide clearing. When the ramp lowered, the Vorthor stepped out slowly, sniffing the air. It turned to Jack, watching him for a long moment. This is your home now, Jack said quietly. No cages, no hunters. You're free. The Predator made a deep, steady sound, a sound Jack remembered from the days when it was young. Then it turned and walked into the forest, its form vanishing among the trees. Maya stood beside him. Do you think you'll ever see it again? Jack's eyes stayed on the trees. If it wants to be seen, I will. They lifted off again, leaving the green world behind. Back at the station, the crew would talk for years about the human who healed a predator instead of killing it. Some would call him reckless, others foolish. But those who had seen the bond and the golden eyes of the Vorther would remember it differently. Jack didn't care about the stories. All that mattered was that somewhere out there, the creature he had saved was alive, free, and no longer alone.